In this video, I would like to talk about being as being a self-unfolding, self-building encyclopedia, and the way I see things as of now. I am a soul plunged into God, which is the world. But the more accurate term would be I am a mind or a consciousness, uh, the subject of the substance, as Hegel calls it. And all the other human consciousnesses are mode of the one infinite substance, which is God, or they are spirits, they are sleeping spirits. And my purpose as a soul or as a mind or as a consciousness is to awaken myself and awaken others by enlightening them. And there's a song by Coldplay um, titled The Scientist, and the purpose of cultural Hegelianism is to use modern pop culture to reveal divine truths. And here's what the lyrics said: tell you I set you apart. So it is God which set me apart, which is my higher self, which sets itself apart and plunged itself into the substance. This is explained in Hegel's philosophy. Running in circles, because existence is a logical circle which consists of breaking apart God and reconstructing God by a cognitive process of self-understanding, self-conceptualization, and we have always done this, we will always do it. That's just the logical circular structure of being. This is the Ouroboros in mythology. Nobody said it was easy. That's a very good Hegelian joke, because in English, nobody means no body, and the suffering in this process, the price to pay to gather knowledge about the nature of God from within, and to appreciate the beauty within God is to suffer in the body, and that's the negative moment. So yeah. Questions of science, questions of progress. To progress, in order for a progress to occur, something has to be negated. A quantitative progress, you negate the given quantity to increase it. So you negate the present, and you bring forth the succeeding moment. So progress includes negativity. So yeah. And the way I see it, my mind is very blurred, but the structure of being, which is a self-replicating, a self-generating encyclopedia, including within itself the whole of knowledge. I just give the broad outlines to help give you the broad picture. It all starts with, strictly speaking, I said with philosophy, but philosophy is what comes at the end, but the end and the beginning are the same. So let us assume that it begins with philosophy. Then you have logic, which is a branch of philosophy, and in Hegel's system, logic is the beginning of all things. This is what John in the Bible says when he says that in the beginning there was the Word, the Logos, and the Logos was with God, and the purpose of being is to reconstruct the Logos of God. Then you have mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, sociobiology, which is the link between the philosophy of nature, which includes mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, and what Hegel calls the philosophy of spirit, and most especially subjective spirit, which has to do with the individual. So logic is logic. Then you have the philosophy of nature. Sociobiology is the link between the philosophy of nature and the philosophy of subjective spirit, because our psyche, our mind is determined by our biological history in a way. I don't believe in Darwinism, but I believe that Darwinism must nonetheless be explained from a Hegelian perspective. It's the way I see it. Darwinism is a backward projection in time of an idea in the mind of God, but it must be rationally explained. I do not reject totally Darwinism. I just say that it's not the ultimate truth. And then in the realm of the philosophy of spirit, in the subjective spirit, you have sociobiology, psychology. In the realm of objective spirit, it is spirit which makes itself manifest to himself and objectifies himself. And here's a few things that I've gathered. There's the educational system, which is a transition between subjective and objective. It is how to train the soul to think and to grow and to develop and to become an autonomous individual. And yeah, then you have law, economics, politics, technology, geopolitics, and history. And history gathers within itself all the aforementioned determinations. So yeah, and there are three other categories which are broadly included within subjective and objective spirit. This is the Jewish question. Women, how do women function? It's a mixture of sociobiology, psychology, and sociology, so it's quite complex. So there's the question of the Jews, the women, and the European identity, which are the same thing. It's mixed within all these fields. And then you have the realm of absolute spirit, which includes art, religion, and philosophy, and more precisely literature, music, poetry, religion and mysticism, and going back to philosophy. And what I want to express is that all individual consciousnesses are modes of this one infinite substance, of which I think I am the subject, but I've talked about it in other videos. And each individual consciousness has a relationship to at least one or many of these determinations, because each human is a biological natural creature. It is in connection with the whole of nature through his body, but also has a culture. Even the poorest culture is still culture. It's still a product of spirit. It still contains parts and truths about spirit. Even animistic religions have a deep knowledge of the essence of things, and each individual consciousness is in relation to the one spirit which is at work in the world to give itself its own self-knowledge. And in order to access spirituality, one has to adopt a multi-layered, a complete, a holistic view. If you are only looking at one part of being, you cannot have a full view. You have to seek the one spirit and the one logical idea in all the layers of being, so to speak. And yeah, so it's just a broad outline, but we find the same truth in all the layers of being. So that's what I wanted to say, and I just will conclude by saying that education will become, thanks to the internet, and is becoming free for all, because the substance, to speak like Spinoza, will give itself its own self-consciousness, and people will share knowledge, and the macro brain will start functioning as a unitary, holistic whole, and all the knowledge of human history, of all the divine truths will be made available to all, and each individual will be enlightened by all other individuals in its reciprocal relationship with the whole, and it will become God's self-consciousness made manifest, and the self-revelation of God through man. And the price to pay for me is suffering, but the idea of this self-revelation of God is so grandiose and so magnificent that, yeah, we will see. But I'm doing my modest contribution to bringing about this self-consciousness of God through man, and here's what I could do for now.